He stood back and looked at his creation. Yukihiko Yaguchi was proud. It was the perfect mix. A luxury car, a very sporty car. He had built the ultimate Japanese sedan, but he had no idea what he had truly unleashed. Because on the streets, they had other plans for his masterpiece, and his vision would soon be lost in a cloud of tire smoke. The bubble had burst. Welcome to True Blue Talk. We hope you like this video. Show us some love with follow and even a like. In the early 1990s, Japan's economic miracle was grinding to a halt. The wild days of excess were over. And on the corporate battleground, caution was the new king. For car makers like Toyota, this meant building sensible, reliable, and frankly, boring cars. It was an era of beige sedans. Cars designed by accountants, not artists. But inside Toyota's headquarters, a quiet war was being waged. A war against boredom itself. The company needed a new lineup for this new era. And the answer came in the form of three brothers. Three sedans, all built on the same platform. There was the Mark II, the mainstream choice. The Cresta, the peak of affordable luxury. And then there was the Chaser. It was designed to be the sporty, youthful sibling, the one with a little more attitude. Engineer Yukihiko Yaguchi had a clear vision. He wanted to build a car that was a perfect mix between a luxury car and a very sporty car. But to the public in 1996, it looked like just another Toyota, a well-built, comfortable, but ultimately forgettable sedan. The kind of car your dad would drive. They had no idea what was hiding underneath. Because Toyota, in their quiet war against boredom, had given the Chaser a secret weapon, one that would change everything. That secret weapon was buried deep in the engine bay. It was a masterpiece of engineering. Codenamed the one JZGTE. On paper, it was perfectly respectable. A 2.5-liter inline-six engine with a sophisticated new turbo system. It officially made 276 horsepower. Not a number to scare supercars. But this number was a lie. A polite fiction agreed upon by every major Japanese car maker. It was called the Gentleman's Agreement, a rule that everyone agreed to, and everyone secretly agreed to ignore. Toyota played by the rules publicly, but in their engineering labs, they were preparing for war. The one JZ wasn't just built to be respectable, it was built to be unbreakable. It had a solid iron block, tough enough to withstand incredible pressure. Its internals were forged for a battlefield, not a morning commute. The engineers had switched from an old twin-turbo setup to a single, more efficient turbocharger. This, combined with a new technology called VVTi, meant the engine delivered its power instantly. There was no waiting, just a wave of relentless torque. Tuners would later discover the truth. This engine wasn't just strong, it was overbuilt. Some said by a factor of 3. Toyota had created an engine for a 300 horsepower sedan, but they had accidentally given it the bones of a 900 horsepower monster. The engine was the turning point, the key that would unlock the Chaser's true violent destiny. An engine like the one, JZ cannot stay secret for long. And the first people to uncover the truth weren't journalists or critics. They were the ones working in the garages, the tuners, the rebels, the people who saw a car, not for what it was, but for what it could be. The stories from those early days are now legendary. A shop gets a new Chaser Tour 5. They put it on the dyno, expecting to see something close to the official 276 horsepower. Instead, it's already making more. So, they add a little more boost. The power climbs, they add more. It still climbs. They keep pushing, waiting for the catastrophic failure that never comes. This wasn't just a strong engine, it was a blank check. A gift from Toyota that Toyota didn't even know it had sent. And the more they dug into the car, the stranger the mystery became. This was a machine of complete contradiction. It had a plush, comfortable interior and a factory-stiffened chassis. It had automatic climate control and high-end audio, and a heavy-duty R154 manual transmission. It had swinging air vents in the dash, a feature designed for maximum comfort, and a torsion-limited slip differential in the back, a feature designed for maximum chaos. It was a luxury car bolted to a performance chassis. A gentleman on the outside, a hooligan underneath. This bizarre combination made it the perfect weapon for the one place Toyota never intended it to go: the mountain passes, the Tuge. Here, in the dead of night, the Chaser's true purpose was revealed. It was long, stable, and easy to slide, and that unbreakable 1.5-liter engine could be tuned to deliver terrifying speed. A new culture was claiming the Chaser as its own, one that operated in the shadows, far from Toyota's corporate boardrooms. Yukihiko Yaguchi's vision was being rewritten, line by line, corner by corner, by a community that had just found its new king, the highest level of professional drifting in the world. This was where the car would either be legitimized as a true performance machine or exposed as just a heavy street brawler. The competition was fierce, especially from its arch rival, the Nissan Skyline R34 sedan, the car with a more famous name and a fan base ready to defend it to the death online. But the Chaser had its own champions, its own assassins. Chief among them was a young driver named Daigo Saito. His style was less about precision and more about pure, terrifying aggression, and his weapon of choice was a JZX 100 Chaser. At the infamous Ebisu circuit, he did something unthinkable. He launched his massive four-door sedan off the crest of a hill, flying through the air and landing perfectly into a drift. The crowd went insane. This wasn't just driving, it was a statement. The Chaser wasn't just capable, it was dominant. It was a tank that could dance. Solito represented the Chaser's raw aggression. Another legend showed its technical genius. Nobu Taniguchi, known as No, was the thinking man's driver. He worked directly with the legendary tuning house, HKS. Together, they developed a specific suspension system, the Hypermax DNO spec. It was engineered for one purpose: to make the JZX 10,000 the perfect drift car. The street racers had been right all along. The tuners had been right. Toyota's luxury sedan wasn't just a capable drift car, it was one of the greatest ever built. The debate with the Skyline would rage on for years in forums and on social media. But on the track, the Chaser had earned its crown. It had proven its case in a baptism of fire and tire smoke. At the very peak of its newfound fame, it was killed. In 2001, Toyota made a cold corporate decision. The Chaser was to be discontinued. Production would cease. On paper, it was the end of the story. But in reality, a new chapter was just beginning. Because the legend of the JZX 1000 had escaped Japan's borders, fueled by grainy internet videos and appearances in games like Gran Turismo, the world was now obsessed with this forbidden fruit. And as the cars aged, a global invasion began. Export companies in Japan started packing them into shipping containers. First, they landed in Australia and New Zealand, then the UK and Ireland. Soon, a 25-year-old legal loophole opened the floodgates to America. The Chaser had gone global, but this created a new, unforeseen problem, a problem of supply and demand. With no new Chasers being made and a worldwide audience desperate to own one, prices began to climb. Then they began to skyrocket. This phenomenon became known as the drift tax, a brutal tax levied by fame itself. The very car that was once an affordable gateway for young Japanese drifters was now becoming a collector's item, a rich man's toy. The ultimate irony. The grassroots community that had built the Chaser's legend was now being priced out of its own kingdom. The car was more famous than ever, but its soul was at risk. So, what is the legacy of the Toyota Chaser? It is the story of two creators. The first was Yukihiko Yaguchi and Toyota. They designed a brilliant, refined sports sedan, a car of balance and comfort born from corporate strategy. The second creator was the global community, the tuners, the drifters, the rebels. They saw the unbreakable heart Toyota had hidden inside, and they gave the car its true soul. A soul of noise, smoke, and glorious chaos. Today, that soul lives on in two different worlds. You can still find the Chaser at the highest levels of professional drifting, a screaming 800 horsepower monster, forever chasing the perfect sideways entry. But you can also find it in the Japanese VIP scene, slammed to the ground with immaculate paint and massive polished wheels. A tribute to the luxury car. It was always meant to be monster and gentleman. Somehow, it is both the Chaser is a monument to 92nd Japanese over-engineering, but more than that, it is proof. Proof that a car's identity is never truly decided in a boardroom. It's decided in the garages, on the racetracks, and in the hearts of the people who dare to rewrite the original.